Okay, this is a quick tutorial on using a pre-existing built site. So we're going to log in to Showit. When we log in to Showit, we're going to go into our website. I am on the global site settings right here. This is the editor. So let me introduce you to the editor. On the editor on the left side, we can talk about site settings, design settings, and media library. These will be applicable as the little world icon here, kind of makes you think about that this is for the entire site. We've also got pages, blog templates, and site canvases. So we'll go through these bit by bit. Site settings is where you would name your site. You've got your custom domain. So if you are, google.com and that's your domain, you put it right here. If you need help setting this up, please use Showit. Their customer service is fantastic. Favicon, your image would go right here. That's this little symbol up in the tab. So this is Showit's Favicon right here. Usually I suggest it to be a small square or circular image with just one or two bits in there. You don't want like a full name or title because you can't read it, right? So even that S, if you were to expand it, that S would be really large, but because it's such a small real estate here on the screen, you can't really see it. So keep those really small and big letters. Your URL, publish, vanity, and preview are here. These will adjust once you get your domain set up. Blog, this gets configured through WordPress, so you want to make sure that you reach out to Showit so that they can walk you through setting that up, or they will actually do it for you, which is ideal. Third-party applications, Google Analytics, and Facebook app, this is where you put those numbers right there. Design settings, so every template comes with pre-made colors in your color palette, but you can adjust these. You can either come in here and use their color swatch, or you can come in and do whatever code you want. That was a real code. But this is going to be really important when it's coming to the design of your site, especially your branding for your company. The type styles, you've got your mobile and desktop. So the thing to understand with Showit is that you can build mobile and desktop separately. That's how you have to do it. You have your title, heading, subheading, and paragraphs. And you can use this ellipses to expand to get into the font type. You have presets, so these come standard. These are ones that I specifically added into this specific template, but you can add new. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. Sizing, line height, letter spacing, alignments, colors, all that kind of stuff. So you do all of that within each platform, or excuse me, within each mobile device or desktop device separately. Under the fonts, this is where you would add a new font. So these are the selected fonts. They come with the standard fonts that you saw before, but you can also go to Google Fonts and add another font. It has the entire Google font catalog right here, as well as the different styles that come with it. If you want to get a quick example of what it looks like, over here, you'll see that. But if you click on Google Fonts, this, of course, will take you to fonts.google.com, and you can see all of the different fonts that they have there. You can also upload a custom font right here. It does need to get into the WOFF format, so go into Font Scroll. If you click on this, you can go and then upload an existing font to do a free generator for that font file type. All right, so that is the design settings. Media library, create your own folders right here. The one drawback to Showit is that you can't rearrange the folders. So if you want something at the top, you have to create it alphabetically, or I did this star asterisk, so that's just like one little thing that I like to do. But when you go through and create folders, I highly suggest, since most people that are using Showit are photographers, I highly suggest that you go in and create a type of event, right? So like weddings or engagements, and then client types or the year or the date, however you keep them organized so that you can quickly and easily go through these folders and search them. Each folder you can search through them, and you have different file types right there. Okay, so that's your media library, pretty simple. Pages, These are going to be all of the pages. You can create each individual page by clicking this plus sign, but this is another really cool feature with Showit. You can create it blank, like this, or you can create it from an existing template. So let me go back and show you what I did. I click this plus sign and I select new page. It allows me to copy or duplicate an existing page from my current site. I have a bunch of other sites. You may not have any in here, but I have a bunch of other sites as well. I could pull from a page from there. I have a library. These are different websites that have been shared with me. And then I can use the entire free catalog of the Showit library. So if I liked this woven design and I really just wanted to use their gallery, I can go in here and say, oh, I really like that gallery, so that's what I'm going to do. Click add, and that gallery page will pop right up there, and it'll have everything pre-made for me. I just have to go in and switch everything out. So it's really, really nice to use that. These are the free only though. Okay, so if it's like a something you have to pay for, obviously you have to go and pay for that. Okay, so if you want to take a look here, this is a big difference between building a site on WordPress and building a site on Showit. Showit, you're doing all of this design right in here under these pages. When you get to your blog, you're actually using WordPress. That's why their icon is right here. You're using WordPress, but you're taking the data that you're plugging into WordPress and you're putting it into a blog design that you have to make within Showit. Okay, so these are essentially placeholders, and what I mean by that is in this canvas, I've got my post title. I type the text post title, right? I can type anything in here. I could type in, this or there are no options, and that is obviously the wrong use there. So I type anything you want, right? So post title, but under the text properties, because we are in the blog section, this appears, and I say, okay, well, the placeholder, this text box is going to be the placeholder for the post title, but I can pick anything else I want it to be, and this is the SEO structuring of it, the typography structure. So I want this to be an H2. I say post date, but again, I've set this up as my placeholder for post date and my categories, and this is the post excerpt, and so on. It's important to note that this doesn't appear when we were in the home page, right? If I come over here and I click on a text field, text properties, there's nothing with WordPress, so it's only in that blog side. Okay, so there's this hierarchy to to any real site, but in Site Builder, but in Showit, what they call it, right? So you get your global site, you have your pages, and then within pages you have canvases. So these canvases, some people call them sections, but these are canvases. These canvases also can be broken down into further detail into canvas views. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, so these little folder icons, and then below canvas views you have elements. So the elements are going to be text elements, image elements, icons, galleries, and that's all found right down here. So text elements, image elements, and your gallery. Okay, so when you take a look at your site canvases, the difference between this canvas and this canvas right here is that this canvas is only specific to the home page. A site canvas is something that is specific to the entire website, hence it is under this global site tab. So these are going to be typically canvases that you're reusing an awful lot, such as your contact form or your footer or your header, right? So these are things that you can create one time, and you don't have to build over and over and over and over again. Plus, when you edit the footer, it will edit every footer canvas on every page simultaneously, so you don't have to go and do these manual updates. So pretty simple. You design it and build it right here, and you can come in and edit it one time under site canvases. When I get into the home page, it's pretty easy to tell what's a regular canvas and site canvas because these have these little diagonal lines, and regular canvases don't. So site canvases, non-site canvases. Even more, these have the little global logo or icon on top of the regular site canvas icon. And even more, when I click on a site canvas, it will say, do I want to edit that site canvas, right? Right here. But if I click on a normal canvas, it will say nothing like that. You can just jump right in and start editing it. So again, those are just easy ways to tell. But again, site canvases are something that you would use over and over and over again, and it's pretty obvious. These, from the contact form to the navigation, this is all going to be something that I've built to just reuse over and over. So I only have to really create one on the home page, 6 separate canvases that are unique just to this page, which is really nice because it's less work when you're building your site out. Okay, so up here, we were in the global tab. This is the page tab. I can then go in and use these ellipses to navigate between my pages as well as my site canvases. So this is just a quick link to get to what was over here. Within the hero section here, icons, taglines, company name, all of this is affecting what is showing up over here on the right side of the editor. This will be specific to any element that I want to adjust. So if I'm going to adjust the text here, and I build my templates so that obviously it's just a placeholder. I don't really need to build this for when I'm building a site. So this is great and easy for people who are coming in and using my templates. So it's a photography company. Let's say it's Joanne Photography. And Joanne Photography, it's just a click edit, really easy. I can drag and drop this, move this all the way around. But I can also use, because this is specific to the text, I can use these centering tools to the middle and to the center right there. You can adjust the widths and heights manually so you can get really pixel perfect right here. Adjust your text properties. Is this an H1, H2, H3? And then, I've pre-made this to be my H1, but if I wanted to go to my title, it would look just like that. That's what I pre-made, again, in my design settings, site styles, under title, actually black, and using the Montserrat. Okay, so I didn't really like that, so I adjusted it to the white and change it. Let's just go back. So where was that? Montserrat thin and white. So again, that's where it's at. Okay, so that's adjusting the text on this background because I'm in a canvas and there's no image element icon over here. This means it's the canvas background for this image. So to adjust the canvas background, I click on it and I'm taken to new photos, and this is my gallery. So maybe I want to use this as my new background for this canvas. Okay, I can set it to be parallax, scroll with page, or fixed. I can focus it on the bottom center, bottom left, bottom right, top, and middle corresponding as well. So whatever I like. I don't really like that because I can't see those letters, so I'm going to go back there. Now, the other thing when you're looking at images is that that's the canvas background. Down in this canvas, this is a separate image. I want to adjust this image, right? So here's Michelle, and this is the image over here. Again, notice everything's kind of changed. I can click on this and adjust it. Go right here. So we'll use that one. Okay, so the reason why I'm showing you this, and this is a pretty obvious adjustment, right? But the reason why I'm showing this to you is that, remember when I said that there's a desktop and a mobile view? Down here we can look at the mobile view. You'll notice that the background, this canvas background, is different on mobile than it is on desktop. But down here, this image is the same, even though I just changed it from mobile to desktop. It doesn't even give me the option of changing the image. And so that is one big difference between canvas backgrounds and just adding an image. I can adjust the mobile and desktop positioning, though, for that. And I almost always use the fill option. You can play with these, but I like fill. Basically, I choose the size of the box that I want it to fill, right? And so then the image fills it, and so it auto crops it. This is a square, or it's close to a square, 434. So here's a square image, and I want it to be a square, but the image came to, actually, look, it is a square. Let's go down and choose one that is not a square. So let's use that one. So you see how it auto crops her? Well, this is a portrait, and the position is 85. So what this means is that if I'm at a 0%, the top of this picture, this line right here, touches the top of this box, so it's a 0% position, okay? If I go to 30, then it will move there. Yeah, and that's nice. I like that. But you have to kind of play with that. And that's one thing you have to understand is that when you create this box, essentially you're creating a mask for the image, and you just need to manually say where you want that image to go. So where, I know a lot of us might be comfortable double-clicking on this and then sliding the image around. It doesn't do that. You have to do it with this percentage. So that does take a little bit of getting used to. And then this is also, since I made it a square, I can change the effect of this picture to either have rounded corners, so these nice little rounded corners right there. That's how I make buttons, by the way. Or I can go over here and click on this circle, and that circle, just because it's a square, makes it that perfect circle, which I think looks really nice. But if I were to make this a rectangle and use that rounded corners option, it just makes it an oval now, okay? So again, you just have to kind of get used to the way that these tools work. You can achieve the effect. It's just you have to make sure that you're doing it the right way. Okay, so let's talk about adding videos, right? So let's say I didn't want this image here and I wanted like a welcome video, right? So the first thing I have to do is let me cut that picture. I come down here and I go to video, and I want that video to go right here. Every video that has any real size or length to it needs to be hosted on either YouTube or Vimeo. So you come up here to video, and then you put in your Vimeo or your YouTube ID, and then you've got all these options to adjust how you want the video to interact with the people that are visiting your site. The thing you should know is that when you, just like I was saying, add anything to your desktop, then you also need to take a look at it on your mobile, okay? And so now that picture's gone because I cut it out of there, and I added this video. In this video element, you'll notice it always, anytime you add an element to a canvas, it always falls into the center middle of the canvas, right? So if I was to come in here and add a rectangle, it does it right in the middle, same size, see? So we'll change that. If I want to put this image in here, right, let's go back to the mobile. Oh, I have to adjust this on the mobile. There's 30. And I don't want, or I love this picture here, but maybe on the desktop, I don't want that picture. What I can do is I actually tell Showit, don't show this on my desktop view. Okay, so it's still there. I can't click on it anymore. It's still there on my mobile, but on my desktop, it's not, right? Okay, so that's maybe where I would want to add a video just on my desktop, and on my mobile, I don't. And that can be for a bunch of different reasons. It could be just, hey, maybe someone's internet connection is not as strong. I talk to a lot of photographers that maybe are a little bit more in the remote side, so keeping your mobile side more picture heavy versus video heavy, I think, is important, because it just means that it loads a little bit quicker and doesn't have to go to YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, all right, so let's talk about those different canvas views. So here's this services section. I'm going to show you what it looks like before or when it's done, and then I'll show you kind of how you have to build it to get there. So here's this canvas. So we created this wedding section. There are these pictures. This is a gallery. It's kind of scrolling through. And when I click on these dots, takes me through. Pretty natural, right? Like this is exactly what you would expect it to do. Well, to build that, you actually have to think of it in a each one of those steps, right? Here, this is one view. It says weddings. Engagements is a second view. So we have to have a gallery. We have to have all this stuff here. Well, how we did that is had to add individual icons. So dot one, dot two, dot three. There's this gallery over here, heading, subheading. This is actually a rectangle that has been shrunk down to just being 1 pixel tall. So it looks like a line, but really it's this rectangle element. So just so you know, like this one, and just over there. So that's kind of how you have to do this stuff in Showit. Okay. Text, all that kind of stuff. Well, once I get everything set here, then I just go and I duplicate this. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I duplicate it, I actually want to double check that I made sure I did it right on mobile, because before you duplicate anything, you want to make sure it looks good on both. So I set it up the way I wanted, and then I'm all set from there. You also want to make sure all your interactions, right? So I set this more button to be clickable. So I have this click action over here. I wanted it to go to this page right here. So you have to make sure you set up your click actions. But once you do that, then you can just duplicate it over and over and over again. So let's say I want to make this adjustment in my design, because I actually like this a little bit different. Let's say I want these pictures to be bigger and not have this big gap right here. Well, I can use these cool little tools. This is on the desktop view only. Use these cool little tools over here under size and position. I'm going to do a horizontal lock. So I'm locking this position of these different elements to where they will always be the same distance from the left side, right? And I think this is really going to elaborate or kind of demonstrate exactly the difference between the canvas views as well. So I've got all these elements, right? All are locked to be this distance from here, and this right now is stretching to where it's locked into that. It's going to always lock into its distance from the right side, but it will stretch from this left point. Where now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it all the way. So as the screen expands left and right, it's going to expand with it. Okay, so let's preview that. Remember, I didn't do this to view 2 or view 3. So you're going to see the difference here. So now I've got a much bigger image, and that gap on the left side, right, is gone. And I like that. I just like that a little bit more, especially with the photos that I put in there. It just puts more emphasis on my images now. But look at this. Because I didn't do this to view 2 or view 3, when I click on this, which I set up the click action to go to view 2, oh, everything went back to normal. Right? So you have to do this to every single view in order to make this work. So again, you just have to make sure you stay on top of that. That is kind of a big component to doing all of this. Okay, so let's talk about embedding some code. So I've got this contact form, and the contact form it's great. It works. It does everything it's supposed to do, which I put in all these different fields. Fiance's name, email address, all that kind of stuff. The structure. So I'm not getting into structuring your contact form in this video. Just so you know, it's a lot of work as far as making sure that it's part of a contact form and going into each of these and making sure that the fields are in a very specific order, so that when you tab through them, it goes through. It's a whole thing. But let's say you just want to take embed code from a service that you've got through, I think the left side, which is like 17 hats or something like that. And so basically you want this contact form to when someone fills it out, it puts their information directly into your CRM tool. Okay, so what I would do is I would add a new canvas. Let's put it up here over contact form, and I come down here to embed code, and that embed code, I then paste whatever code they give me into this custom code section, just like that. I'm going to go grab some fake code just so you can see kind of how this might look. Okay, so I just got some code from Typeform. I paste that code in there, and I hit save, and there we go. So now there's this little interaction. So when I preview this, there's this form right here. So see how it kind of expands with it. Let's see, then I have to go ahead and adjust that. Let's see. Oops. And then sometimes you have to play with it. Yep, there we go. So now I've got this little form that comes from Typeform, and as you can see, it all interacts, and it's really simple and really easy. But that's the general idea, right? Is that you go and you add this embed code, and it works seamlessly. Now, what does it look like on mobile? Well, probably not that great because we didn't do anything with it. So you see it's all kind of like botched up right there. So you have to go in and adjust everything from the mobile side. Let's make that size 20. Let's preview that on mobile. Oh, not bad. easy. So you see how there's this little slider up and down? So I'd have to make that embed field a little bit taller. So again, you do have to play with it just a bit. That's kind of the rub with embed code. You're basically only putting in a frame for their code to work. So that's where that little up and down navigation can come in. Okay, let's talk about SEO. So under the home page, I want to go into SEO settings. And under SEO settings, I want to put in that I'm a wedding photographer. And name is Edwin Marie. And here's the description of my business. And I want to rank for wedding photographer. And my share image is going to be some previous work that I've done. So it'll be this one right there. Okay, great. So what does all this mean? Well, if you're to go in here and Google wedding photographer, let me do Washington, D.C. If I go and Google wedding photographer, then there are all these ads on Google, the map, and then this section, this organic section. So here's Sam Hurd Photography, well-known wedding photographer in DC. This is the title, right? So that is this page title right here. And this right here is the URL, can't really adjust that. And then this is the blurb, right? So this is the meta description. And then you won't see the meta keywords. And then there's that share image. These images are going to start being shown more and more and more. But whenever you share a page on social media, this is the image that will show up. It's this one right here. So you can make that your logo. You can make that, I usually say like something nice, big, and beautiful that represents your work, or a picture of you. But you definitely want that share image. So those are the SEO settings in there. And that's going to be the pretty much the basics of this stuff. There are different animations. Every animation is going to be different based on the canvas style. Does it slide in? Does it appear? Does it twist and turn? What about the page? Remember that hierarchy where it goes page, canvas, canvas view. Well, you can set up animations that are page specific, and then your canvas can actually pull the animation from your page default, or you can do a custom, and then this specific element, right, can then say, oh, well, this transition is going to be custom as well. So that's kind of the idea, is that you can make, it says custom down to each individual element. It does take a lot of time, but it is something that, the more you work at it, the better it's going to look and all that. If you have any general questions about any of this stuff, right, the best resource I can suggest is going to this bottom right section, this help desk, where you can go in and it will walk you through everything that you need to know on getting started, building out a site, your blog, SEO, all the kind of stuff that people ask me on a constant basis. How do we do this? It's all right there. But even better is their Ask a Question section, where you can literally just click into the section, start a new conversation, and they are usually within 2-3 hours going to respond to you. So just a really great resource. I hope this has been helpful for you learning how to edit and manage your online site. Explore this stuff. It does get deeper than what I talked about. I just kind of did that high elevation bit right there. But that is how you manage your site. Last thing I'll show you, this is your settings. You go down here, this bottom left, and this is your account. So profile, you can look at all the different sites that you've got. You can adjust your email. Your email within your profile is where the contact forms are going to go, right? So if we go in here, this is where the email is. This is my current email address. You can update it all right from there, okay? And then any message that you get. All right, cool. So that is it. Hopefully this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, you can reach me at derek@edwinmarie.com. Website is, of course, edwinmarie.com. And I look forward to helping everybody out.